Hi guys, welcome back to Ryan's Ramblings. Today I decided to talk about the backwards world that we live in. What if I told you that up we're down and down we're up? You think I was crazy, right? You'd be like, uh-oh, Ryan has officially gone off the deep end. He no longer wishes to be part of the same. All right, I feel you. Now, what if I told you that we have all actually been taught that our whole lives? From when we were babies, from when we were in elementary school, junior high school, so on, even until adulthood. We've been taught to accept a backwards way of living. We have been taught that we are not entitled to things that we are entitled to. We have been taught that doing acts of kindness is something that is amazing and extraordinary and should be documented, and that heinous things that we see happen because that's just the world we live in, or that's just the way the world is. You know, since I have a lot of time on my hands, since I've been impacted by this pandemic, I have a lot of time on my hands, more than I wish to have actually. I had a lot of time to think about some things, yeah? And one of the things that I was thinking about was, why is this world so crazy? Why are people so power hungry? And how is it possible? How is it possible that certain atrocities happen in this world and we all allow them to happen? And I just wonder, how in the world is this world even still going on? Okay? And it just dawned on me. Yeah? What is racism? I mean, are there really people that just really hate people because of their skin color? I mean, is that really true? I mean, yeah, I'm sure maybe some people have told themselves that, or some people believe that they may hate others based on their skin color. But I always wondered, really, where did this power struggle come from? Where did this racism thing come from? And you know what? It's funny. I remember when I was in university and I studied microeconomics. Okay? And it just dawned on me that all of these problems that we face today, all these crazy things that's going on in this crazy world, yeah, it's nothing more to do with than just economics. Path of least resistance. The desire to possess what others do not. Yeah? It's funny how we do not live in this world alone, right? We were not put here alone. We do not live here by ourselves, forced to try to figure out a way. We are here together, right? So why is it that we desire to be at the top by ourselves? That's backwards, right? Because we weren't really built for that, right? Yeah, I know I'm going all over the place, but be patient, guys, be patient. It's all going to make sense soon. And I stumbled across this video on YouTube. Actually quite a few, because I was just outraged and it reminded me of something that I had forgotten. Or maybe a part of me had forgotten. Well, I watched a documentary on Emmett Till. And for those of you who maybe remember the name but forgot the story, all right, I'm going to remind you. Well, basically, this was back in, I believe, 1955. And there was a young man, young handsome man, young intelligent handsome man from Chicago, and he decided that he wanted to visit some relatives in the great state of Mississippi. Now, you know, back in those times, America was especially crazy, right? Yeah. America was struggling with racism, okay, discrimination, and then just like crazy crimes were committed based on race. Anyway, this would happen. So before this young man went to Mississippi, his mother told him, all right, now, boy, remember, don't go down there thinking it's like Chicago, okay? When you see white people, just put your head down, don't look at them in their eyes, and just go about your business, okay? Now, Emmett Till was really young. He was in his early teens, yeah? And so, I guess his mother had, like, you know, maybe an unusual expectation because he was just a kid, and kids would just be kids, right? Especially considering the fact that kids don't really grasp the concept of racism that much, yeah? Okay. And so Emmett Till made it to Mississippi, and he went to this store, yeah? Went to this store with his cousins, and he whistled at a white woman, and it was a manager of a husband's store, all right? And later that night, this young man was abducted from his cousin's home, and he was lynched. He was tortured, he was beaten, he was shot, his bones were broken, and he was tied to a fan and thrown in a river to be forgotten forever, just because he whistled at a white woman. Back in those times, there were many people that believed that that was the just thing to do, because how dare a person of color whistle or be disrespectful towards a white woman. That was back in 1955. It is now 2020. And I think, like, wow, I couldn't imagine living back in those times. I could not imagine being that young man, Emmett Till. And then I thought about it. Today I may be highlighting this one story in particular, but the same story, the same sort of set of circumstances happened to so many black people, to so many minorities, men, women, children, and, you know, and I was just like, why? Is it because these white people, the ones that were racist anyway, really believe that black people didn't really deserve to live? Then I challenged myself to think even further, and I realized that it wasn't that. It was that minorities or black people were challenging these white people's way of lives. These black people are starting to become more prosperous, starting to demand more things. Their God-given rights, actually, which shouldn't have to be demanded, should just be given, seeing as how everyone is entitled to them. And so the lynchings serve nothing more than just to remind people to stay oppressed. to remind people to stay in their places. Again, people at the top, for some reason, they like to be lonely up there. And when there's enough of us upsetting the status quo or demanding something more from this crazy world, there's bound to be something that's going to happen. Now, luckily, I didn't grow up in those times where racism was so in your face and when black people didn't have rights at all. But I was born to a different time, a time where racism was still a little bit in your face, but at least I had rights and I was protected by laws. But when I think about it, racism hasn't really gone away. It's just evolved and turned into something else. Again, because there's so many of us starting to become more prosperous, starting to make more of a footprint in this world, on this soil that we call Earth. And when I think about it, how is it that things like this can happen over and over again throughout history and seem to be acceptable? I mean, later on, people read in history books how these crazy things happen, and they were just like, wow, I can't believe life was like that. And I can imagine that in the future there will be people reading history books about 2020, and they will be like, man, I can't imagine life was like that. And then it dawned on me, these crazy things that happen, why were they acceptable by governments, by, certain authorities, by a vast majority of the people? Well, again, it's all about that status quo. It's all about that power. Whenever people's power gets threatened, whenever their way of life starts to decline, they look for a scapegoat. I mean, the same thing happened with the Jews. Again, the majority taking it out on the minority. That's why so many people rallied behind Hitler. Then I thought about it. How can we fix this world? What can we do to ensure that these things don't happen again? How can we stop these evil people from running the world? How can we stop these evil corporations from enslaving us as a people? The answer is simple. We need to stop thinking in terms of race. We need to stop thinking in terms of gender. We all need to unite and become the majority, because history has shown us time and time again that whatever the majority believes becomes acceptable and becomes way of life. Whatever crazy things that the majority imposes on the minority has to accept or suffer the consequences. So imagine if we lived in a world where everyone believed that everyone deserved to be loved. Imagine if we lived in a world where everyone believed that everyone had the same basic human rights. What if we lived in a world where the rich people looked out for the poor people and the poor people looked out for the rich people, instead of having this gap further broadened, further extended, instead of having all these animosities, instead of analyzing differences as something negative? What if we looked at differences as something positive? What if we looked at differences as something beautiful? When will we realize that there is only one race on this planet? When will we realize there is only one race? You know what that race is. The human race. Yeah? Whenever enough people start thinking the same thoughts, whenever enough people start asking the same questions, yeah, why? Why have we allowed ourselves to be divided in these crazy fashions? Religion, race, politics, financial power, education, intellect, beauty. Why have we allowed ourselves to be torn apart like this? We all came from the same source. We were all given the same freedoms and rights, but somehow we allowed evil entities, evil beings, evil people to trick us and to make us believe things that were not even true. We have allowed these people to make us believe that up is down and down is up. Yeah, this video is a little bit different from the videos I normally put out there. But basically, I just want to get this point across. And I want to motivate you to look around and look at all the similarities. Look at all the things that we have in common. Also, to look around. Look at all the differences that we possess. And look at how beautiful these differences are. Look at how beautiful diversity is. I challenge you to put your hand out and to raise up someone who needs help instead of looking at that person as a burden, instead of looking at that person as a disgrace to society. I challenge you to record people not helping people instead of recording the people who help people and praising them for doing something that everyone in this world should actually be doing. But please don't take any offense. If you are one of those positive people out there helping your community, that is really good. Keep it up. But I just said that just to reinforce the fact that it's amazing how far we have come, and it's amazing how far we have dropped, how far we let ourselves go, how far we have allowed ourselves to be tricked and fooled by society. The human race turned into the rat race. See? The power of distraction. That's what these evil people do. These people that control the world, these people that spread racism when they themselves are not truly racist. These people that tell us that this religion is wrong or this religion is bad, when they themselves do not have a religion. It is these people, the puppet masters, that control us, the puppets. Aren't you tired of being a puppet? I know I am. You know, there was another video that I watched. It was this guy. He was a doctor for MSU, Michigan State University, named Larry Nassar. And he specialized in, treating gymnasts, dancers, majority women. And this guy, for decades, got away with sexually abusing young girls and young women. And he did it over and over again and was never really reported until recently. And just like any normal person would think, they would probably think like, why didn't these people report this guy? Why did they keep going back to this doctor who was abusing? Well, That should let you know how crazy we are as a people. That's to let you know how bad this world is. That when people need help, they feel powerless. And they feel like they have no choice but to accept the way things are. Because there's enough people in this world that's always going to tell you that up is down and down is up. To be honest, I know this video is not making much sense maybe, but basically I'm sick. I'm sick of all these things that's going on. Because I see them happening still. I see them going to be happening again. I don't really see us uniting and doing something about all the things going on in this world. And it's crazy because, in my opinion, the answer is very, very simple. We don't even have to be confused about it at all. The answer is love. The answer is respect. The answer is appreciation. The answer is care. Care about one another. Stay motivated in these times, guys. I know it's very hard. It's very hard for me as well. Get out there and get some sun. Take a morning walk. Hang out with your friends. Do something positive. Figure out what you gotta do to survive. Figure out what you gotta do to help others survive. Remember, we don't live in this world alone. And if we wish for certain things to happen, if we wish for certain changes, we can't just wish for them. We have to become the majority. We have to change our beliefs and our principles. And we have to unite behind them. Because again, guys, history has shown us that the majority has the power. So the only thing you really have to ask yourself is, what do you want this world to be like? What side do you want to be on? Because I'm tired of being a minority. I'm ready to join the ranks of the majority. Has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with color, has nothing to do with financial power, with religion. There is only one race on this planet. It's the human race. And the minute that we figure that out, the minute that we accept that, the second that we acknowledge it, the second that we base our actions off of that simple fact, it's a time when this world is going to be better than it's ever been before. Forget making America great again. Forget just focusing on America. How about we make this world a great place for the very first time? How about we do that? All right, guys, this is Ryan Anthony. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for liking my videos. I apologize for this video being a little bit unorthodox, but I just really wanted to get that out there. Just was on my mind, guys. Just, you know, with this video blog, basically just helps me to vent, helps me to figure things out. Thank you for being part of that process. And I hope to see you guys next time. Remember, make love, not war. Peace is the only way. Love is the only way. If we really want to see a positive change in this world. Become the majority. Become the majority. Make these racist, crazy people become the minority. And we can actually take control of this world. We can actually take our rightful place in it, guys. There is only one race. That's the human race. Stay strong, keep hope alive, and I will see you next time. This is Ryan Anthony signing out. See you.